Good morning, guys. My name is Abhinav. This is my latest motorcycle. This is a Triumph Tiger 1200 XCX. It's a late 2017 model that I just picked up. It's not a new motorcycle for me, it's pre-owned. It was owned by a very close friend of mine who is relocating to another country, so I got a fantastic deal on the motorcycle, something that I just couldn't say no. Now, on the motorcycle you'd see there are a lot of parts, a lot of boxes, so I am headed to Speedmonks, but not in Gurgaon this time. Speedmonks have opened up a new service center in West Delhi, that's Mayapuri, so I'm headed over there. I have the top box on the motorcycle that I installed myself. I have the Arrow exhaust here, and I have the pannier mounting kits on the bike. So I use bungee cords and I just tied them on the rear seat. It's very easy. The motorcycle has a lot of anchorage points, so instead of taking the car as well, I just thought that, why not just take it on the motorcycle. So I'm going to meet Atul over there. We'll get riding now and I'll talk about the motorcycle while I'm on my way. Come on. Alright, let's get going. I'll have to ride very cautiously. I have quite a bit of weight behind me. So if you're watching this video and your first comment is going to be, where is the Yamaha R15, guys, give me time. Right now there is a lot going on. The lockdown is in place and that motorcycle needs time. It needs time to, take it outside Speedmonks to a welding shop, because we need to make some changes to, the exhaust. And then there are a few other things that I will get into in a specific Yamaha R15 video. If you're here for an update on the KTM 390 Adventure, well, in the last video I told you guys that the ECU failed. The service center still hasn't opened up, and what's really shameful is, even though I tagged KTM India and Global on my Instagram post on it, I haven't received any response. I mean, what's the point of having an online presence for KTM if they're not even going to respond to a customer that says his ECU failed at 150 kilometers an hour? Anyway, this is not about those motorcycles. This video will be about my Tiger 1200. So, why did I go for a Tiger? Well, in September last year, I had gone to Goa. It was a solo trip on my Triumph, the Street Twin 900cc easy city riding motorcycle. Now, I completed that trip about 4,000 kilometers in fair comfort. But the one thing that I realized was, if I want to really do long distance in India, I would probably be better off on a proper ADV. So early this year I sold off the Street Twin and I started looking for a proper adventure motorcycle. Now, I did not have the budget for a brand new one. I wanted a GS 1200 because I've ridden my friend's GS quite a lot, and there's no way I can afford a brand new GS. So I was looking for a used GS 1200, but I wasn't finding any. These motorcycles are extremely rare in the pre-owned market and command quite a premium, because they're not a lot of bikes to begin with, and whenever the owner upgrades from a GS, I mean, that's a very rare thing, because nobody really upgrades from a GS. What do you upgrade to after that? So most GSs were in the range of 16-17 lakh rupees, and I wasn't really, I also wasn't very comfortable buying a motorcycle from a person that I do not know. So one of these days I just accidentally walked into, not accidentally, but I accompanied my friend to a KTM showroom, and he wanted to check out the 390 Adventure, and before you know it, I ended up buying the motorcycle just impulsively right then and there, without giving it much of a thought. As soon as I came back and I posted a photo of it on social media, a very good friend of mine, he called me and he said, "Hey man, I just got to know that you were looking for a big motorcycle." I said, "Yeah, I was looking for a Tiger or a GS, but I wasn't finding any." And then he told me that, you know, he has plans to relocate to France and he wanted to sell his motorcycle, the Tiger. So he said if had he known, he would have sold it to me. And I told him, yeah, likewise, had I known, I would have bought it from you, because, you know, I know how you would keep your motorcycle, and I have trust in you. So he told me, why don't you still go for it? And I told him that, you know, there's just no way. I bought a motorcycle just today. So we worked something out. We worked out a payment scheme, and lo and behold, I bought his Tiger, the Tiger 1200. Now, a good thing about this motorcycle, I've done only about I don't know, 300 kilometers on this bike. This is probably the most comfortable motorcycle I have ever ridden in my life, and I would say I've ridden a fair amount of super bikes. I've spent some time on the GS 1200 as well, but on road this is a more comfortable motorcycle according to me. That's just because of all the weather protection it offers. The screen is fairly tall, you can adjust it on the fly, it's electronic, like I'm raising it right now. Now this is at its highest position. We'll bring it down. Alright, come to a stop. Same goes for the suspension. The suspension is semi-active, so, you know, if I just sort of go down here, select it, I can have it anywhere I want. Normal, sport. I prefer keeping it on, you know, the softest here. Yeah, so it's just it's like somebody put an engine and wheels on a sofa. Now it's sort of like it really is a sofa on wheels, and the fact that it has a shaft drive, now that is something that I was really looking for. I mean, to be very honest, that's also one of the reasons I wanted the BMW. When I go on long rides, which I hope I will be able to now, I don't really want to think about the chain. That's also the reason the previous owner of this motorcycle did not buy the Multistrada. He loved the Multistrada, but he said, fuck it, I don't want the chain, I want a shaft drive. And he's a previous Triumph owner too. He had a Thruxton R before this bike. So this motorcycle is very comfortable. The seat height is not, it's not like other adventure motorcycles. Now other adventure motorcycles can be really tall, but this motorcycle, the standard seat height, it's adjustable 2 steps, so it's 835 mm at its lowest, and the highest setting is 855, and there are 2 bars under, you know, the seat that you can just change its positioning, and the seat height it changes. Very easy, very convenient. The rider triangle is very relaxed. I've done 1,000 kilometers a day on my street twin on this motorcycle. It'll be just so easy, so convenient. The bike comes with heated grips. Not that you really need heated grips in our conditions. It's a hot day. Maybe when we are traveling to, Spiti or Ladakh in the winter, maybe that's when we'll find out the use of heated grips. So you can see I'm flat footing the motorcycle very easily. I'm 5 feet 10 inches tall. It's returning a fuel economy of 17 kilometers to a liter right now, but that's because I've mostly ridden it on the highway. If you're primarily riding in city stop-go traffic, it's not really a motorcycle, it's a boat. It drinks a lot of fuel, and that's probably the second most negative feature about this motorcycle. Not a feature, but a trait. It's a thirsty bike. The city fuel economy, I've seen it as low as 11 kilometers to a liter. Now the Tiger's meant to be a fairly fuel economic motorcycle. The 800, especially the ones that I've ridden of my friends, they easily return 20 to 23 kilometers to a liter, being an 800, which is higher than my Triumph Street 66675. So this motorcycle is it's a thirsty motorcycle, and it has a 20-liter fuel tank. So that does not give you exceptional range. I mean, 250 to 180 kilometers and you'd probably start looking for fuel, which is something that most street bikes do. Now the Tiger 800 has a better range because it's again 20-liter fuel tank, and what do you call it, fuel economy of over 20 kilometers to a liter easily on the highway. The GS has better fuel economy as well, which we experienced during our ride to Chitkul, which is the last Indian village along the China border. So yeah. Then another thing, this motorcycle is all around comfort and convenience. So you can adjust the suspension on the fly. It has rider modes. So right now we are in the road mode. You can switch to the rain mode if it's raining, and probably, I'm not sure if it really restricts the power. It makes about 137, 138 bhp, but if somebody asks me how much power does it make, my answer is plenty. If someone says how much torque does it make, the answer is more than one needs. So power and torque wise, you really have nothing to complain here. These are big, cushy adventure motorcycles that aren't really meant to be ridden full throttle, so it's a moot point. It's redundant how much power this motorcycle makes. Anyway, so the rain mode, I haven't tried it, but I presume it'll probably cut the power back a little, soften the throttle response, adjust traction control and ABS accordingly. This motorcycle also has the 6-axis IMU, but I'm not going to bore you with all of that. The fact is, all electronics on this bike they make it a comfortable ride. They make it a very easy ride. And I'm a guy who hates electronics on motorcycles, but here they somehow make a lot of sense, because I'm not going to ride aggressively. You can if you want to, because now another con of this motorcycle, it's a very heavy motorcycle. The dry weight is 250 kg plus, and it carries all of its weight high up. So initially, when I started riding this bike, moving it around was a pain, because no matter how you mask it, 250 plus kilos is 250 plus kilos. Now you add 20 liters of fuel and 4 liters of engine oil, and you're north of 275 kilos. Plus, being a touring bike, you'll have your top box, you'll have your panniers, you'll put load in them. So you're looking at close to a 300 kg motorcycle. Man, it's a hot day. Wow, it's a really hot day. Yeah, 42 degrees outside. My God. And I have to keep the visor down so that the mic does not catch a lot of wind noise. So I'm burning inside the helmet right now. I like the fact that there are no vibrations on this motorcycle. I have taken this motorcycle, I've been very fast on it too. On the highway, I took it to 190 kilometers an hour and it was rock stable. Cruising at 150 kilometers an hour, it feels like a joke. Really, it feels like you're doing 80-90 kilometers an hour. You don't feel the speed because there's so much poise. The wheelbase is long, and there's a lot of weight, so it's very stable. It's almost as if this motorcycle is on rails. Again, probably the most confidence inspiring motorcycle in a straight line that I've ridden. And the fact that you get such good wind and weather protection from this big screen, the deflectors on the side, you don't feel it. You don't feel a thing. There is no wind buffeting, nothing. So I mean, I'm 5'10", which is slightly better than average in the Indian context, but if a guy who's 5'7", 5'8" is riding this motorcycle, clearly they won't have any problem riding this motorcycle, and I think they might be able to flat-foot it as well. If not flat-foot, then at least be comfortable enough on the motorcycle because of its seat height. Now, if they are riding this motorcycle, I think all the wind's just gonna go above their head. There won't be any problem with the wind. Now check this out. I'm in the 4th gear. I'm cruising at, I'm probably at 50 kilometers an hour. I don't have to downshift, nothing. In fact, I could probably do this in the 6th gear as well, but not that I need to. But yeah, if I were to, it is very, very doable. I need to be cautious of the fact that, you know, I've got the exhaust right behind me and it's protruding from both sides, at least a foot out from my body on both sides. So I have to be mindful when I sort of navigate through traffic, because I have this very bad habit of filtering through traffic through close gaps. Not very close, but still close enough. If there's somebody who's watching this video from outside India, they would already be having nightmares and cursing us for our, you know, traffic sense and just our discipline on the road. Okay, so I'm just going to try and recap 5 things that I wish were better on this motorcycle. Okay. First and foremost, something that's going to bother you a lot in Indian conditions, especially if you take this motorcycle out in traffic. It's not the weight, rather it's the heat from the engine. The fuel tank gets extremely hot. Some would say it gets unbearably hot. I wouldn't go on to say that, but it does get very, very hot, especially around here. So the inside part of your thighs that sort of sit on the fuel tank, this is the portion that gets really hot. So the first con, in my opinion, is how hot this motorcycle gets. The second would be the weight of the motorcycle. It's a heavy bike. You don't feel the weight while on the go, but you feel it while, you know, just moving the motorcycle when you've parked it in and out of a parking spot. If it's a tight parking spot, yeah, you're gonna feel it, man. The third con would be the fuel not the fuel economy, but the range of the fuel range of the motorcycle. I wish it did more. Now I understand why Triumph cannot add more capacity to this fuel tank, because it's just going to make it top heavier. It's already very top heavy. It's just going to be you don't want another 10 kilos sitting right on top here. So the third would be the range. 2 more, right? 2 more. I probably mentioned them earlier and now I can't think of them. Well, now this is something which is probably what makes this motorcycle great, and probably what is also worrying about this motorcycle. It has electronics on it. Almost everything on this motorcycle is electronic, from the suspension to the screen. When things go wrong with electronics, not only are you stranded, but it's also a very hefty repair bill. This motorcycle is out of warranty now, and if any motor goes off, I'm screwed. I'm just screwed then. Yeah, so that's the fourth one. The fifth one, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now, I think probably okay, so this might work as a con in the Indian context, because this is we are a, you know, relatively hotter country than many others where this bike is sold. So because you get such good wind and weather protection during summer months, because the screen, even in its lower position, is this high, it blocks out a lot of wind. So I'm not feeling any breeze on my chest to keep me cool. So it's not really a con, but maybe somebody would see it like that. Other than that, I don't really see any problem with this motorcycle. In fact, I have a feeling I'm gonna do a lot of good tours on this bike. It just makes you want to ride more and more. मैंने बोला जब टाइगर है तो गाड़ी क्यों आनी चाहिए, सब सामान टाइगर में ही आ जाएगा. हाँ, इसी पे मैंने लोड कर दिया. So guys, this is the new Speedmonks. This is a branch of Speedmonks. It's not operational, it's not fully operational yet. It's still being set up. So this is Atul's office over here. He's going to handle most of the operations. And this is where, you know, the tires are. This is where all the products will be displayed. All the exhausts. There's engine ice over here. We've got a lift kit, and then we've got a proper bike lift over here. And then this is your toolkit. Alright, I'm going to end this video right here. Let's see what all we do to the Tiger today.